Before we start, let's be crystal clear. The strategies in this video are designed to give you a powerful edge, but your SAT score is a reflection of your personal effort and dedication. Think of this as the ultimate roadmap. You still have to drive the car. The single most powerful SAT prep tool on the planet is 100% free, and there's a 99% chance you are using it completely wrong. Or worse, not at all. What if I told you that instead of spending thousands of dollars on private tutors or hundreds on prep books that are basically expensive doorstops, you could unlock a personalized, data-driven study plan that adapts to your exact weaknesses and pushes you toward a top-tier score? And what if I told you the creators of the SAT are the ones who built this tool for you? This isn't some gimmick. This is the official SAT practice on Khan Academy, and the College Board's own data is staggering. Students who use it for just 20 hours see an average score increase of 115 points. That's the difference between a good score and a great score. That's the difference that opens doors to scholarships and top-choice universities. But here's the secret nobody tells you. Simply logging in and doing a few practice problems is like having a key to a Ferrari and only using it to open a bottle of soda. It's a waste of potential. The real power isn't just in the practice questions. It's in the system. It's in the strategy. And over the next 10 parts, I am going to give you that exact system. This is the definitive step-by-step blueprint to turn Khan Academy from a simple website into your personal elite SAT coach that works for you 24/7. You're going to learn how to properly diagnose your starting point, so you don't waste a single minute studying things you already know. You'll learn how to structure your practice sessions for maximum efficiency, how to interpret the data Khan Academy gives you, and how to turn that data into targeted, score-boosting actions. We will cover the specific strategies for the reading and writing section, how to master every single concept in the math section, and most importantly, how to build the mental endurance to dominate the test on exam day. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information, confused about where to even begin, or frustrated that your score isn't improving no matter how hard you study, this is your turning point. The problem isn't that you're not smart enough. The problem is that you haven't been given the right strategy. Most students just dive in. They click on a few math problems, maybe try a reading passage, and then get bored or discouraged and log off. They treat it like a worksheet. But it's not a worksheet. It's a sophisticated learning engine. Let me tell you about a student, let's call her Sarah. Sarah was a solid B+ student. Smart, hardworking, but her SAT score came back as a 1050. She was devastated. Her dream school required at least a 1300. Her parents immediately bought 5 different prep books and looked into tutors that cost over $150 an hour. She spent a month grinding through practice questions in a book, and her score barely moved. She felt like she was hitting a wall. She was studying hard, but she wasn't studying smart. The problem was that the book couldn't tell her why she was getting questions wrong. It couldn't identify that her core issue in math wasn't geometry, but a specific type of quadratic equation. It couldn't see that in the reading section, her weakness was consistently the command of evidence questions. She was spending 80% of her time reviewing concepts she already knew, and only 20% on her actual weaknesses. Then we implemented this system. We threw out the books and focused exclusively on Khan Academy. We started by linking her College Board account, which immediately imported her SAT results and created a personalized study plan. For the first time, she had a dashboard that screamed, "Sarah, stop practicing circle theorems. You've mastered them. Instead, focus on functions and linear equation word problems." Here are 5 practice sets, a video explaining the concept, and an article breaking it down. The change was immediate. Her study sessions became shorter but far more intense and productive. She stopped feeling overwhelmed and started feeling empowered. She was no longer guessing what to study. She was following a precise, data-driven plan. 3 months later, after dedicating about 5 to 6 hours a week to this system, she walked into the SAT and scored a 1380, a 330-point increase. She didn't get a magical brain transplant. She just started using the right tool in the right way. This is what's possible when you stop throwing random effort at the wall and start using a guided system. Khan Academy's partnership with the College Board is the key. This isn't some third-party company guessing what's on the test. They are using real retired SAT questions and official materials. The algorithm knows the exact percentage of questions that will be about, say, heart of algebra versus passport to advanced math. It designs your practice plan to mirror the structure of the actual test. A generic prep book can't do that. A tutor can guess, but they can't analyze your every click and keystroke the way this algorithm can. So let's talk about the mindset you need to adopt before we even begin. You have to let go of the idea that you are bad at math or a slow reader. These are not fixed personality traits. They are skill gaps. A skill gap is something that can be fixed with targeted practice. If you get a question wrong, you can't just say, "Oh, I messed up," and move on. You have to become a detective. Why did you get it wrong? Did you not know the formula? Did you misread the question? Did you fall for a trap answer? Khan Academy helps you do this. For every single question, there is a step-by-step text or video explanation. Your job isn't just to get the right answer. It's to understand the logic so deeply that if you saw a similar question a month from now, you'd solve it in your sleep. Your first mission, the absolute foundation of this entire system, is to give the platform good data. Garbage in, garbage out. If you give it bad information about your abilities, it will give you a bad study plan. So, we need to get you set up for success right from the very start. First, you need to create an account on KhanAcademy.org. Simple enough. But the next step is the most critical, non-negotiable step of this entire process. You must link your Khan Academy account to your College Board account. When you're signing up, it will prompt you. Do it. If you already have an account, go into your settings and do it now. Why is this so important? Because if you've taken the SAT 10 or a previous SAT, this one click will instantly import all of that data. The system will see every question you got right, every question you got wrong, and the difficulty level of each. It immediately jumpstarts your personalized plan. It's like giving a doctor your entire medical history instead of just telling them you have a cough. It gives them the context to make a perfect diagnosis. Now, if you haven't taken a SAT or any other College Board test, don't worry. Khan Academy will have you take a short diagnostic quiz to get a rough idea of your levels. But we're going to do one better. Whether you've linked your account or not, everyone following this system is going to start in the same place. By taking a full-length official practice test. This is your true baseline. This is day 0. But you can't just casually take it. You have to simulate real test day conditions as closely as possible. That means you need to block out about 3.5 hours of uninterrupted time. No phone, no music, no television. Tell your family you cannot be disturbed. You need to do it all in one sitting with only the official breaks. You need to use a number 2 pencil and print out the answer sheet to bubble in your answers. Why? Because bubbling is a skill. Managing your time for an entire 3-hour exam is a skill. Maintaining focus when you're tired and hungry is a skill. We need to measure all of those things, not just your knowledge of the content. Taking a practice test on your couch over a 6-hour period while watching Netflix gives you useless data. We need clean, accurate, real-world data. This first test is not about getting a good score. I repeat, the score on this first test does not matter. Its only purpose is to be a data collection tool. It's for us. It's for the Khan Academy algorithm. You might feel discouraged. You might run out of time. You might feel like you guessed on half the questions. Perfect. That's exactly what we need to know. We need to know where the wall is so we can give you the tools to smash through it. So your mission, before you even think about the next part of this series, is to schedule and take one of the official practice tests available on the Khan Academy site under real-time conditions. Once you've done that, you'll have your raw score, and that's where the real work and the real magic begins. So you're staring at that score. Maybe it's a 1050. Maybe it's a 1200. Maybe it's a 1400. It almost doesn't matter what the number is because for 99% of students, that first score comes with a sinking feeling. It's that moment you realize the gap between where you are and where you need to be. It feels like a massive, unconquerable chasm. You look at the score report, and it's just a sea of red X's. You got a question wrong on interpreting words in context. Okay, what does that even mean? You missed one on linear equation word problems. You thought you were good at those. And another on command of evidence. It's overwhelming. Feels like you have to get better at, well, everything. And that feeling right there is why most people quit. It's why they spin their wheels for months, randomly doing practice problems from a giant textbook, just hoping something sticks. They're essentially trying to boil the ocean. But you're not going to do that, because what you have in front of you isn't a final grade. It's not a judgment of your intelligence. It's a treasure map. Every single question you got wrong on that practice test is a bright, flashing neon sign pointing directly at where you can gain the most points in the least amount of time. The problem is, right now, that map is written in a language you can't understand. This is where we translate it. This is where we turn that confusion into a crystal clear step-by-step plan. Your next move is the single most important action, you will take in your entire SAT prep journey. You are going to link your College Board account to your Khan Academy account. This isn't just a simple tech step. This is like flipping the master switch. This is activating the hyperdrive. When you do this, you are unleashing a powerful algorithm that will do for you in about 30 seconds what would take a human tutor weeks to figure out. Here's what's happening in the background, and it's critical you understand this. When you link your accounts, Khan Academy doesn't just see your final score. It pulls the data on every single question from your practice test. It sees that you missed question 17 in the Math No Calculator section. It knows that question 17 was categorized as a medium difficulty question, testing the specific subskill of manipulating quadratic and exponential expressions. It sees you got question 22 right, which also tested that skill, but it was an easy difficulty question. The algorithm processes this instantly and concludes, aha, this student understands the basics of this concept, but struggles when it's presented with a bit more complexity. It does this for every single question: reading, writing, and math. It analyzes the patterns. It sees that you consistently miss questions involving colons and semicolons, but you're a rock star with subject-verb agreement. It sees you nail data interpretation from charts, but you struggle with questions about scientific experimental design. Within seconds of linking your account, this sophisticated analysis is complete. And what you get on the other side is not a generic study guide. You get a personalized, dynamic, and adaptive roadmap built exclusively for you. It's the equivalent of having a world-class doctor run a full diagnostic panel and hand you a precise, customized treatment plan to get you to peak health. Everyone else is just guessing, taking vitamin C and hoping for the best. You have the full blood work. Now let's talk about what you'll see on your screen, because this is your new command center. The first and most important thing to focus on is the Practice tab. When you click it, you'll see your SAT math, reading, and writing sections broken down into specific domains. And next to each of these domains, you'll see a skill level from 1 to 4. This is your blueprint. Level 1 means you're just starting out. Level 2 means you've got some foundational knowledge. Level 3 means you're proficient. And Level 4 means you've mastered it. Your practice test data has already populated these levels. You might see that in Heart of Algebra, you're already at a Level 3, but in Passport to Advanced Math, you're struggling at a Level 1. This is gold. Instantly, the overwhelming feeling of, I have to study everything, disappears. It's replaced by a laser-focused mission. You don't need to spend hours drilling Heart of Algebra, problems you already know how to do. Your time is infinitely better spent tackling the skills in Passport to Advanced Math that are holding your score back. You've just identified the low-hanging fruit. These Level 1 and Level 2 skills are where you will make the fastest, most significant gains in your score. But it gets even better. Khan Academy doesn't just show you your weak areas. It gives you the exact tools to fix them. When you click on one of those lower-level skills, let's say function notation, it won't just throw 1,000 random problems at you. It will give you a targeted practice set of 5 questions. These questions are specifically chosen to build that skill from the ground up. They start with the fundamentals and gradually increase in difficulty, mimicking the exact style and phrasing you'll see on the real SAT. And for every single question, there are detailed, step-by-step written explanations. Not just the right answer, but the logic behind it, and often the logic behind why the wrong answers are wrong. Many questions even have a video walkthrough where a teacher explains the concept from scratch. This is the core feedback loop of the Khan Academy system. You take a practice test. The algorithm identifies a weakness, like function notation. It gives you a targeted 5-question practice set. You work through it, using the hints and explanations to truly understand the concept, not just memorize the answer. As you answer correctly, you'll see your skill level physically increase. That bar will fill up. You'll go from Level 1 to Level 2, and then from Level 2 to Level 3. This isn't just about grinding problems. It's about leveling up your skills in a structured, measurable way. Now, a quick note for those who might have taken a paper and pencil practice test and don't have an online score report to link. Don't worry, you're not left out. Khan Academy has a feature where you can manually enter your answers from a paper test. It takes a few extra minutes, but the result is exactly the same. A fully personalized practice plan. And if you haven't taken any test at all, Khan Academy will offer you a series of short diagnostic quizzes. While not as comprehensive as a full-length test, they do a remarkably good job of establishing a baseline and building your initial plan. So, no matter your starting point, there is a path to get this personalized roadmap. Think back to that initial feeling of dread when you saw your first score. That feeling of being lost in the woods with no map and no compass. What you've just done by linking your account is the equivalent of getting a GPS, a satellite phone, and a helicopter on standby. You can now see the entire landscape. You can see the mountains you need to climb, your level 1 skills, and the flat plains you can cruise through, your level 3 and 4 skills. The ambiguity is gone. The confusion is gone. All that's left is a clear path forward. You now have a list of prioritized skills. You can literally see the 10 most important things you need to work on to increase your math score, and the 10 most important things for your verbal score. The system has handed you the plan. But this is also where a new kind of overwhelm can set in. You have the perfect plan, the perfect map. But a map is useless if you don't know how to read it, or how to plan your journey. How often should you practice? For how long? Should you do math one day and reading the next? Should you just focus on your weakest skills? Or should you also maintain your strengths? How do you weave in full-length practice tests without burning out? You have the what. Now you need the how. You need a system, a routine. You need to turn this incredible diagnostic tool into a weekly schedule that actually fits into your life and guarantees results. And that is exactly what we are going to build in the next part. We are going to take this personalized plan and forge it into a simple, repeatable, and devastatingly effective study schedule that will systematically raise your score week after week. So let's talk about the architecture of excellence. The best study schedule isn't about finding more hours in the day. It's about making the hours you do study count for more. It's about leverage. We're going to build a system that turns 1 hour of focused effort into what feels like 3 hours of progress because it's targeted, it's intelligent, and it's based on how your brain actually learns. Forget the vague goal of study for the SAT. We're replacing that with a clear, actionable mission for every single day you sit down to work. This system is built on a weekly cycle. It's a rhythm you'll get into, and it consists of 3 core activities: targeted practice, full-length testing, and deep dive review. That's it. That's the entire game. Everything else is a distraction. Let's lay out the blueprint for a perfect study week. Think of it as your training split, just like an athlete would have in the gym. We'll call it the 2-2-1-1 blueprint. That's 2 days of targeted math practice, 2 days of targeted reading and writing practice, 1 day for a full-length practice test, and 1 day for a deep, forensic review of that test. 1 day is left over. That day is for rest. And do not skip the rest day. Burnout is the enemy of progress. Your brain builds connections when you rest, so it's an active and essential part of the process. A sample week might look like this: Monday is math, Tuesday is reading and writing, Wednesday is math again, Thursday is reading and writing again, Friday is your rest and recovery day, Saturday is your game day, the full-length practice test, and Sunday is your analysis day, the deep review. Now the magic is in the details. What do you actually do during these sessions? Let's start with the targeted practice days, Monday through Thursday. These sessions should be between 60 and 90 minutes. Any more than that and you start to see diminishing returns. The goal here is quality, not quantity. You're going to log into your Khan Academy account, go to your personalized SAT dashboard, and look at the skill list that diagnostic test generated for you. You'll see skills at level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Level 4 means you've mastered it. Level 1 means you have a major content gap. Your mission on these targeted practice days is to live in levels 2 and 3. These are your growth zones. These are the skills where you understand the basics but you're still making inconsistent mistakes. Fixing these is the fastest way to boost your score. So, on a Monday math session, you pick 1 or 2 skills from level 2 or 3. Maybe it's solving quadratic equations or interpreting linear functions. You then launch a practice set within Khan Academy for that specific skill. You do the timed practice. And when you're done, the real work begins. You do not just look at your score and move on. That is the single biggest mistake students make. For every single question you got wrong, and this is critical, for every question you guessed on and got right, you must become a detective. You need to open up a notebook or a simple document on your computer. This is your mistake journal. This journal will become the most valuable study guide you own, because it's written by you, for you. For each of those questions, you write down 3 things in your journal. Number 1. Why did I get this wrong? And you must be brutally honest. Don't just write, I made a mistake. That's useless. Be specific. Was it a calculation error? Did you misread the question? Did you forget a specific formula? Did you fall for a trap answer? Did you simply run out of time? Write it down. Number 2. What is the underlying concept or strategy one need to know? This is where you use Khan Academy's incredible resources. Watch the little video explanation. Read the text breakdown. Understand the fundamental principle behind the question. Don't just learn how to solve that problem. Learn how to solve every problem like it. Write down that core concept in your own words. Number 3. What is my specific plan for next time? This is the most important step. You need to create an actionable rule for yourself. If you made a calculation error, your rule might be, I will write down every step of my algebra and double-check my work before bubbling an answer. If you misread the question, your rule is, I will underline the specific thing the question is asking for before I even look at the answer choices. You do this for 60 to 90 minutes. It's intense. It's focused. And it is 1,000 times more effective than just mindlessly doing hundreds of random problems. You are actively rewiring your brain one mistake at a time. You do this for math on Monday and Wednesday, and for reading and writing on Tuesday and Thursday, focusing on the skills Khan Academy has told you to work on. Then we get to Saturday. Game day. This is non-negotiable. Every week, you must take a full-timed official practice test. You can find all 8 official practice tests right inside Khan Academy. You need to simulate the real experience as closely as possible. If your test is at 8 a.m., you wake up at 7 a.m. You eat a good breakfast. You put your phone in another room. You tell your family not to disturb you. You sit down with a number 2 pencil and your calculator and you take the entire test with the proper time breaks in one sitting. Why is this so important? Because the SAT isn't just a test of knowledge. It's a test of endurance and focus. You wouldn't run a marathon without ever running more than a few miles in practice. Taking a full test builds your mental stamina, it helps you perfect your pacing, and it desensitizes you to the pressure of the test environment. You're making the real test feel like just another Saturday practice session. After you finish, you're done for the day. Do not look at your score. Do not review it. Your brain is fried. Step away. Go do something fun. Relax. To Sunday. Sunday is the most important day of the week. This is your deep dive review day. This is where you turn Saturday's performance into future points. This session will take 3, maybe even 4 hours. Yes, longer than the test itself. You're going to take your mistake journal and go through that practice test with a fine-tooth comb. But you're not going to just check the answers. First, you're going to do what's called a blind review. Go back to every single question you marked as unsure or got wrong, and without knowing the right answer, try to solve it again. You'll be shocked at how many you can get right without the pressure of the clock. This tells you that your mistake wasn't a knowledge gap, but a pacing or anxiety issue. After you've done your blind review, now you look at the answer key and the explanations on Khan Academy. For every single question you got wrong for any reason, you log it in your mistake journal using that same 3-step process. Why did I get it wrong? What's the underlying concept? What's my plan for next time? You will start to see patterns. You'll realize, wow, I missed 3 out of the 4 questions about modifier placement. Or, every time I see a function notation problem, I freeze up. These patterns are pure gold, because they tell you exactly what to focus on in the coming week. And that's the final beautiful step. Your Sunday review session dictates your plan for Monday through Thursday. If you discovered a weakness in modifier placement, that becomes the number 1 skill you target in your Tuesday and Thursday reading and writing sessions. If you struggled with function notation, that's your mission for Monday's math practice. This creates a powerful self-correcting feedback loop. You practice, you test, you review, you refine your practice, and you test again. Your score doesn't just go up by accident. It's forced upwards by a systematic process of identifying weaknesses and turning them into strengths. You stop studying everything and you start studying the right things, the things that will actually get you more points. This is the schedule. This is the machine you are going to build. It's simple, it's repeatable, and it is devastatingly effective. You now have the blueprint, the weekly schedule that turns your effort into points. But a blueprint is useless without the right tools and techniques to actually build the house. Simply doing the practice isn't enough. You have to do it the right way. And in the next part, we're going to break down the exact step-by-step techniques for the SAT math section. We'll uncover the hidden patterns, the most common traps, and how to use Khan Academy's interface to think like the test makers themselves. Alright, let's dive into the belly of the beast. The SAT math section. This is where many students feel the most anxiety. It feels like this giant, unpredictable monster. But here's the first secret you need to internalize. The SAT math section is not a monster. It's a machine. It's built with specific rules, specific parts, and predictable patterns. Your job isn't to be a math genius who can invent new theorems on the spot. Your job is to become an expert mechanic who knows exactly how this machine works. And Khan Academy is your workshop. The very first thing you do is take a full-length, timed math diagnostic test within Khan Academy. Do not skip this. Do not guess your level. Do not pass go. You need a baseline. This isn't about getting a good score. It's about collecting data. When you finish, Khan Academy will give you a breakdown of your performance, suggesting skills to practice. Most students look at this, see a bunch of red, and just start grinding problems. This is a massive mistake. You need to perform an autopsy on every single question you got wrong. And I mean every single one. You need to categorize your errors into one of 4 buckets. This is critical. Bucket 1, the careless error. This is the most frustrating one. You knew how to do the problem, but you added 2 and 2 and got 5. You missed a negative sign. You solved for x when the question asked for 2x. On your review sheet, you write down the question number and simply careless error. Read the question or careless error. Check signs. These aren't knowledge gaps, they're process gaps. Bucket 2, the concept gap. This is a true, I had no idea what to do moment. Maybe you completely forgot the formula for the volume of a cone, or you've never seen a question about standard deviation before. These are your top priority. These are the skills Khan Academy is designed to teach you from the ground up. You'll see it recommend the foundational videos and articles for these topics. You must watch them. Start from zero as if you've never learned it before. Bucket 3, the misinterpretation. This is a subtle but deadly error. You knew the math concept, but you didn't understand what the question was actually asking. Word problems are famous for this. They wrap a simple algebra equation in a confusing story about factory widgets or train schedules. When you identify one of these, you need to go back to the question and pinpoint the exact phrase or sentence that threw you off. What was the trick? How did they disguise the simple math? Recognizing these linguistic traps is a skill you can train. Bucket 4, the timeout. You knew how to do it, you understood the question, but it took you 5 minutes. On the SAT, a 5-minute question is a wrong answer, because it cost you the chance to answer 3 other questions correctly. When you find these, your goal isn't to relearn the math. It's to find the shortcut. And I guarantee you, for almost every long-winded SAT problem, a beautiful, elegant shortcut exists. This is where the Khan Academy explanations become your secret weapon. Even for questions you got right, if it felt slow, you must read the explanation. Often, you'll discover a method that's twice as fast as the one you used. Once you've done this autopsy, your study plan becomes crystal clear. You're no longer just practicing math. You are surgically targeting your weaknesses. Now let's talk about the actual practice. The SAT math section is dominated by what the College Board calls the heart of algebra, problem solving and data analysis, and passport to advanced math. Let's demystify these. Heart of algebra is a fancy way of saying linear equations and systems of linear equations. It's the X's and Y's you've been doing for years. This should be your fortress. Khan Academy's practice on this is phenomenal. Your goal is to reach level 4 proficiency in every single skill in this category. No excuses. These are the most common questions on the test, and you need to be able to do them in your sleep. The key here is not just getting the right answer, but developing automaticity. When you see a system of 2 linear equations, your brain shouldn't even have to think. Your hands should just start moving, either through substitution or elimination. You use the Khan Academy practice sets to build that muscle memory. Next, problem solving and data analysis. This sounds intimidating, but it's mostly about ratios, percentages, proportions, and reading charts and graphs. This is the real-world math section. The trap here isn't the math itself. It's usually pretty simple arithmetic. The trap is the setup. They'll give you a scatter plot with a line of best fit, a bar chart with weird units, or a paragraph describing a scientific study. Your job, using Khan Academy, is to become immune to the fluff. Practice these problems by first identifying the core question. What am I actually solving for? Is it a percentage increase? A unit conversion? Probability? Ignore the story about the Brazilian tree frogs or the Kansan wheat harvest and find the numbers and the relationship between them. Khan Academy gives you an endless supply of these problems to train your fluff filter. Finally, passport to advanced math. This is where you find the more complex stuff. Manipulating quadratic equations, understanding function notation, and dealing with exponents. For many, this is the most feared section. But here's the secret. The SAT rarely asks you to do the most complicated version of these problems. They test your understanding of the structure of the equation. For example, instead of asking you to solve a hideous quadratic, they might ask you for the sum of the solutions, which has a simple formula, negative b over a. Or they'll show you a graph of a parabola and ask you what a certain component of the equation represents. Khan Academy's practice forces you to see these patterns. As you work through the level 2 and 3 problems, actively ask yourself, what's the trick here? What concept are they really testing? It's usually not about brute force calculation. It's about a clever insight into the structure of the math. Now, let's layer on the master level strategies, the things that take you from a 650 to a 750 or higher. These are strategies you practice within the Khan Academy interface. Strategy 1. Plugging in numbers. This is your single most powerful weapon. Anytime you see a problem with variables in the answer choices, like 2x, x squared, or y plus 3, your brain should scream, plug I in. Don't try to solve it algebraically like your high school teacher taught you. That's the slow path, the path filled with traps. Instead, pick a simple number for the variable. Let's say x equals 2. Solve the problem with that number and get a target answer. Then plug x equals 2 into all the answer choices. Only one will match your target. When you practice on Khan Academy, force yourself to use this method on every single question that fits the criteria. You will feel your speed and accuracy skyrocket. Strategy 2. Working backwards. This is the cousin of plugging in. You use it when you see specific numerical answer choices. The question might ask, what is the value of x? And the answers are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Don't set up a complex equation. Start with answer choice C, which is 15. Plug it into the problem statement and see if it works. If it makes the equation true, you're done. If it's too big, you know the answer must be A or B. If it's too small, it's D or E. In 2, maybe 3 tries, you found the answer without ever doing messy algebra. Again, use the Khan Academy practice sets as your dojo. Identify the questions where this works and force yourself to use this strategy. By combining the autopsy of your mistakes, the targeted grinding of the big 3 content areas, and the conscious practice of these master strategies, you transform Khan Academy from a simple question bank into a sophisticated flight simulator for the SAT. You're not just learning math. You're learning the test. You're learning to recognize the difference between a problem that requires a formula and a problem that requires a shortcut. You're learning to see the matrix to decode the design of the test itself. This is how you move beyond just knowing the material and start thinking like a perfect scorer. And the ultimate training ground for that kind of thinking isn't the daily practice problems. It's something much bigger. It's the full-length, timed official practice test. This is where we separate the casual studiers from the serious score chasers. This is the crucible. Now, a lot of students get this part catastrophically wrong. They either jump into practice tests way too early, get a terrible score, feel completely demoralized, and give up. Or they wait way too long, thinking they need to master every single skill before they're ready. And then they run out of time to actually learn from the tests. Both are terrible strategies. So, when is the right time to take your first full-length practice test on Khan Academy? Here's the rule of thumb, the specific benchmark you should be aiming for. You take your first full practice test only after you have reached skill level 4 on at least 70% of the skills in both math and reading and writing. Let me say that again because it's that important. You need to have proven mastery level 4 on the vast majority of the individual concepts before you try to put them all together under pressure. Why? Because a practice test is not primarily a learning tool. It is a diagnostic tool. Its purpose is to expose your weaknesses under realistic conditions. If you take it too early, the only thing it will diagnose is that you don't know the material yet, which you already knew. It's a waste of a valuable resource and a massive blow to your confidence. You wouldn't run a marathon after jogging for a week. You build your foundation first. Those daily Khan Academy skill drills? That was you building your muscle, your cardio, your core strength. Reaching level 4 on over 2/3 of the skills is your proof that the foundation is solid. Now and only now are you ready for the dress rehearsal. So you've hit the benchmark. It's Saturday morning. What do? You don't just casually open your laptop and click start. No, you turn your practice test into a religious ceremony. We're going to call this the test day simulation protocol, and if you follow it, you will get 10 times the value out of every single test you take. First, you need to set the stage. This means creating an environment that mimics the actual test center as closely as possible. Find a quiet place where you will not be interrupted for 3 straight hours. A library, a quiet room in your house anywhere. No music. No TV in the background. Your phone needs to be in another room. Not on silent in your pocket. Not face down on the desk. In another room. The temptation to check it during a break is a temptation you will face on test day, and you need to practice resisting it now. Second, timing is everything. The digital SAT is adaptive, but it's still strictly timed by section. You must use a timer. Khan Academy has one built-in, which is perfect. You do not pause the timer. Ever. If you need to use the bathroom, the clock keeps running just like it will on test day. You need to feel that time pressure. It's a fundamental part of the test. Learning to manage your mental state when you see the clock ticking down is a skill in itself, and you can only build it under authentic pressure. Third, use the official tools. You will have a calculator built into the Bluebook app on test day. So, for your practice, use the built-in calculator on Khan Academy. Don't use your fancy graphing calculator unless you've confirmed it's an approved model and plan to bring that exact one on test day. You are allowed scratch paper, so have scratch paper. Not a giant notebook, but a few loose sheets just like you'll get at the center. Get used to managing your work in a limited space. Fourth, take the official breaks. The SAT has a scheduled 10-minute break between the reading and writing section and the math section. When the break time starts on your practice test, you actually get up. You walk away from the computer. Stretch your legs. Get a drink of water. Go to the bathroom. Do exactly what you plan to do during the break on test day. Don't just sit there scrolling through your phone, which, remember, is in another room. Practicing the break is just as important as practicing the sections. It's your chance to mentally reset, and you need to know how to do that effectively so you can come back to the math section with a clear head. By simulating the entire experience from the silence to the scratch paper to the timed breaks, you are doing more than just testing your knowledge. You're stress inoculating yourself. You're making the unfamiliar familiar. So when the real test day arrives, your brain doesn't waste any energy on freaking out about the environment or the rules. It can dedicate 100% of its power to solving the problems. The experience will feel routine, just another Saturday morning practice session. That is an unbelievable competitive advantage. Okay, so you've survived the 3 hours. You've gone through the test day simulation protocol. You click submit, and your score pops up. Let's say it's a 1250. What do most students do? They either get excited, wow, a 1250, or they get disappointed, ugh, only a 1250, and then they close the laptop and go watch Netflix. This is the single biggest mistake in the entire SAT prep process. Getting your score is the least important part of taking a practice test. The score is a vanity metric at this stage. It doesn't matter. The real work, the work that creates 1,500 level scores, begins after the test is over. You are about to perform what I call the SAT autopsy. You are going to dissect this test with the precision of a surgeon to understand the exact cause of every single lost point. This process is non-negotiable. If you don't have time to do a full, detailed review of your practice test, then you don't have time to take a practice test. Postponing the review is not an option. You must do it within 24 hours, while the questions and your thought processes are still fresh in your mind. Here's how the SAT autopsy works. You're going to create what's called an error log. This can be a physical notebook or a simple spreadsheet. For every single question you got wrong, and this is crucial, for every question you guessed on and got right, you are going to log it. For each of these questions, you'll record 4 things. Number 1, the question itself, a summary or a screenshot. Number 2, the correct answer. Number 3, the answer you chose. Number 4, the reason for the error. This is the absolute heart of the autopsy. You need to be brutally honest with yourself and categorize why you missed the point. And your reasons will fall into one of 4 main categories. Category 1, content gap. This is the simplest kind of error. You got it wrong because you just didn't know the underlying concept. You didn't know the rule for semicolon usage, or you forgot the formula for the volume of a cylinder. This is a great error to find because it's so easy to fix. The prescription is simple. Go back to Khan Academy, find the specific skill that corresponds to this question, and grind it until you hit level 4. You had a hole in your foundation, and now you've found it and can patch it. Category 2, misread the question. This is a painful one. You knew the content perfectly, but you solved for x when they asked for 2x. You found the area when they asked for the perimeter. You missed a tiny but critical word like not or except. These errors feel silly, but they are deadly. The fix here isn't about studying more math. It's about process. For every question you log under this category, you must write down a one-sentence strategy to prevent it from happening again. For example, from now on, I will circle the exact thing the question is asking for before I start solving. Or, I will reread the last sentence of the question after I have my answer to make sure it matches. Category 3. Careless mistake. This is a calculation error or a simple slip-up. You did 2 plus 3 and got 6. You dropped a negative sign. You clicked answer B when you meant to click C. Like misreading the question, this is incredibly frustrating. The fix is again process-oriented. It's about slowing down. It's about learning to double-check your work, especially on easier questions where your brain tends to go on autopilot. Your takeaway might be, for any algebra problem, I will plug my final answer back into the equation to verify it. Category 4. Time pressure error. This is when you knew how to do the problem but the clock was running down, you panicked, and you either rushed and made a careless mistake, or you just guessed randomly. This is a symptom of a larger pacing issue. The fix here is strategic. You need to analyze where you're spending too much time on other questions. Maybe you're spending 5 minutes on a hard question that's worth the exact same single point as an easy question you could solve in 30 seconds. Your autopsy reveals these patterns, showing you where you need to be more willing to skip a question and come back to it later. By meticulously logging every error into one of these 4 categories, your practice test transforms from a simple score into a personalized roadmap for improvement. You are no longer just studying for the SAT. You are now surgically targeting your specific weaknesses. You'll see patterns emerge. You might discover that 50% of your missed math points aren't from content gaps, but from simply misreading the questions. That's a game-changing realization. It means your time is better spent practicing a careful reading protocol than it is relearning geometry formulas you already know. This deep analysis, this SAT autopsy, is the engine of score growth. Every other student sees a number. You see a data-rich blueprint telling you exactly what to do next. So, how do you perform this SAT autopsy? How do you turn that red X on your Khan Academy practice test into your most powerful weapon? Starts with a mindset shift. You are no longer a student who got a question wrong. You are a detective arriving at a crime scene. The wrong answer isn't a failure. It's a clue. And your job is to meticulously analyze that clue until it reveals the secret to beating the test. Every single question you get wrong, or even guessed on and got right, must go into what I call an autopsy log. This can be a physical notebook or a simple spreadsheet. For every single error, you are going to answer 3 non-negotiable questions. This is the heart of the entire system. Question 1: why specifically did I get this wrong? And I mean specifically. I didn't know it is a useless answer. That's like a detective saying, the crime happened. We need to go deeper. Was it a careless error? Did you misread the question, bubble in C instead of D? Or make a simple calculation mistake under pressure? Or was it a true concept gap? Did you genuinely not know the grammar rule, the math formula, or the strategy required to solve the problem? You have to be brutally honest with yourself here. This first diagnosis dictates everything that follows. Question 2. What is the fundamental concept or skill being tested? This is where Khan Academy becomes your secret weapon. Every single question in their database is tagged with a specific skill. When you review your test, it doesn't just say question 27, incorrect. It shows you the question and tells you the skill is, for example, solving systems of linear equations or interpreting words in context. You need to write this exact skill name down in your autopsy log. You are categorizing the evidence. Question 3. What is my concrete plan to fix this forever? Again, study more is a lazy, useless answer. Your plan must be specific, actionable, and directly tied to Khan Academy's resources. This is the step that 99% of students skip, and it's why their scores stay stuck in a frustrating plateau. Let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine you're reviewing your first Khan Academy practice test. You come to a math problem. It gave you 2 equations. 3x plus 2y equals 12 and 5x, y equals 7. The question asked for the value of x plus y. You solved for x, found that x equals 2, saw the number 2 as answer choice A, and you picked it feeling confident. But the answer was C. You got it wrong. The average student looks at this, says, oh right, I was supposed to find y too. Silly me. And moves on, doomed to make the same mistake again. But you're a detective. You open your autopsy log. First you answer question 1. Why did I get this wrong? This wasn't a concept gap. You knew how to solve a system of equations. You did it correctly. This was a specific type of careless error. You misread the final instruction. You solved for x, but the question asked for x plus y. You write this down. Error type, misread final prompt. Solved for a component part, not the final requested value. Being this specific is critical. Next, question 2. What is the concept? You look at Khan Academy. It tells you this is systems of linear equations. You write that down next to your error analysis. Now for the most important part, question 3. What is my concrete plan? Your plan isn't be more careful. Hope is not a strategy. Your plan is this. First, I will immediately reread the Khan Academy article and watch the video for systems of linear equations to solidify the process. Second, I will go to the Khan Academy practice section and drill only systems of linear equations problems until I get 10 in a row correct. Third, for the next week on every single math problem I do, I will physically circle or underline the very last part of the question, the part that asks what I'm actually solving for before I even start my calculations. This will build the physical habit of checking the target. Do you see the difference? It's the difference between a wish and a system. You've identified the precise failure point, linked it to a core concept, and created an actionable, trackable plan to eliminate that weakness. You're not just fixing a mistake, you're rewiring your brain. Now let's apply this to the reading and writing section, which can feel much fuzzier. Let's say you're stuck between two answer choices on a words and context question. The passage is about a scientist, and the sentence says her approach was unorthodox. The question asks for the best replacement for unorthodox. You're torn between unusual and controversial. They both seem kind of right. You pick controversial, but the correct answer was unusual. The average student shrugs. Man, that's so subjective. Could have been either one. And they learn nothing. But you open your autopsy log. Question 1. Why did I get this wrong? You didn't misread anything. It wasn't a careless error. It was a concept gap, but a very specific one. You write, I failed to use context clues from the surrounding sentences to determine the precise connotation of the word. I relied on my general feeling about the word instead of evidence from the text. The sentences before mentioned her methods were different from her peers, and the sentences after said her methods eventually became standard practice. Nothing in the text suggested there was a public dispute or argument, which is the core of the word controversial. The evidence only supported the idea that her methods were different or unusual. Question 2. What is the concept? Khan Academy tags this as words in context. You log it. Question 3. What is my plan? First, I will complete the Khan Academy lesson for words in context. I will pay special attention to their strategy of neutralizing the word, covering it up and inserting the answer choices to see which one fits the surrounding evidence best. Second, I will drill the words in context level for practice set until I achieve mastery. Third, for every single one of these questions going forward, I will not allow myself to choose an answer until I have physically underlined the specific words in the passage that support its connotation. I must justify my choice with textual evidence, not just a vague feeling. After you do this for just one full-length test, your autopsy log will stop looking like a list of failures and start looking like a treasure map. You'll see patterns emerge. You might realize that you don't have a broad math problem. You have a specific problem with quadratic equations when they're presented as word problems. You don't have a reading problem. You have a tendency to get tripped up by answer choices that are true statements but don't actually answer the specific question being asked. This log is your personal SAT algorithm. Khan Academy provides the raw data, the questions, the answers, the skill tags. But the autopsy log is where you perform the analysis that creates real targeted growth. You are no longer just studying for the SAT. You are conducting a precise surgical operation on your own weaknesses. While everyone else is wandering around in the dark, randomly doing problems and hoping to improve, you have a high-intensity spotlight, illuminating the exact path you need to walk to get the score you want. This process transforms review from a passive, boring chore into the single most high-impact activity you can possibly do. So how do you use this spotlight? How do you turn this powerful insight into actual points on your score report? You do it by implementing what I call the grind and grow cycle. This isn't about mindlessly doing thousands of problems. This is about a deliberate, intelligent system that guarantees improvement. The cycle has 3 core steps: targeted practice, forensic review, and active learning. Master this cycle, and your Khan Academy skill levels will climb from 1 to 4, almost on autopilot. Let's start with targeted practice. When you log in, Khan Academy will give you a set of recommended skills to practice based on your diagnostic or your last practice test. This is your daily mission. Your goal here is not just to get the questions right. Your goal is to practice under simulated test conditions. This is a non-negotiable rule. That means you set a timer. For math, give yourself about 1.5 minutes per question. For reading and writing, about 1 minute and 15 seconds. You have to train your brain to operate under pressure from day one. Don't tell yourself, "Oh, I'll work on speed later." Speed isn't a separate skill you bolt on at the end. It's forged in the fire of consistent, timed practice. When you're doing these problems, fight the urge to immediately click the hint button. The hint button is a crutch, and if you rely on it, you'll never learn to walk on your own. Struggle with the problem. Wrestle with it. Draw it out. Try a different approach. The mental effort you expend trying to solve a problem you're stuck on is where a huge amount of learning actually happens. Only after you've given it a genuine, honest-to-God effort should you either guess, mark it for review, and move on, or if it's untimed practice, finally look at the hint. But treat that hint button like it costs you $100 every time you click it. Use it sparingly. Your brain needs to feel the discomfort of not knowing because that discomfort is the trigger for growth. Now, once you've finished your practice set, maybe it's 5 questions, maybe it's 10, we move to the most important part of the entire SAT prep process: forensic review. This is where you put on your detective hat. Most students just look at the right answer, say, "Oh, okay," and move on. This is the equivalent of trying to become a pro basketball player by only watching highlight reels. It's useless. You need to perform an autopsy on every single question you got wrong, and even the ones you got right but weren't 100% sure about. To do this, you need a framework. I call it the 4 categories of error. Every mistake you make will fall into one of these 4 buckets. Category 1 is the careless mistake. This is the most frustrating one. You knew how to do the problem, you knew the concept, but you added 2 and 2 and got 5. You missed a negative sign. You solved for x when the question asked for 2x. You bubbled in C when you meant to bubble in B. The solution here isn't to study more math. The solution is to refine your process. You need to build a habit of double-checking. You need to start physically underlining exactly what the question is asking for. You need to slow down for 2 seconds on the final calculation to make sure you didn't make a silly arithmetic error. These aren't knowledge problems, they're execution problems. Category 2 is the content gap. This is a clean, honest mistake. You got the question wrong because you genuinely did not know the required information. You forgot the formula for the area of a trapezoid. You didn't know a specific grammar rule about semicolons. You didn't know the definition of a specific vocabulary word. These are the best kinds of mistakes to make because they're the easiest to fix. Khan Academy makes this incredibly simple. For every question, there's a detailed explanation, and often a link to a video or an article that teaches the exact concept you're missing. Your job is to click that link and consume that content. Watch the video. Read the article. Don't just skim it. Take notes. The solution to a content gap is to fill the gap. Simple as that. Category 3 is the question misinterpretation. This is a subtle but deadly error. You knew the content, you didn't make a careless mistake, but you fundamentally misunderstood what the question was asking. Maybe you missed a tiny but critical word like not or except. Maybe in a reading passage, you fixated on a detail from the wrong paragraph. Or maybe the question's wording was just tricky, and you twisted its meaning in your head. The solution here is to practice active reading. When you review, your job is to identify the exact phrase or word that tripped you up. Then you must ask yourself, how could I have read this differently? What's a better way to rephrase this question in my own words to make sure I understand it? This trains your brain to break down complex questions into simpler parts, which is an absolutely essential skill for the SAT. Finally, category 4 is the strategy error. You knew the content, you understood the question, you were careful, but you still got it wrong or took way too long. Why? Because your approach was flawed. Maybe you tried to solve a complex algebra problem by hand when you could have just plugged in the answer choices. Maybe you spent 5 minutes on a hard question worth 1 point when you could have answered 3 easier questions in that same amount of time. Maybe you got bogged down in the details of a reading passage and missed the main idea. Reviewing these questions is about finding a better path. Look at the official explanation. Often it will show you a more elegant, faster shortcut. Your job isn't just to understand the right answer. It's to understand the most efficient way to get to the right answer. This 4-category framework transforms your review. You're no longer just wrong. You're wrong in a specific, identifiable, and solvable way. This brings us to the final step of the cycle: active learning. As you perform your forensic review on each mistake, you need to log your findings. Get a physical notebook or open a simple document on your computer. This will be your error log. For every mistake, you're going to write down 4 things. First, a brief summary of the question. Second, why you got it wrong using one of the 4 categories. Be brutally honest. Category 1, careless. I solved for X but they wanted X plus 2. Or Category 2, content gap. Didn't know the difference between effect and effective. Third, what the correct answer is and why it's correct in your own words. Don't just copy the explanation. Rewriting it forces your brain to process the logic. And fourth, and this is the most important part, what you will do differently next time. This has to be a concrete, actionable rule. For example, next time I see a solve for the expression question, I will circle the expression before I start solving. Or, I will make a flashcard for the effect versus effect rule and review it daily for a week. This error log is your personal SAT textbook, written by you for you. It's a living document of your progress. Reviewing this log for 5 minutes before each study session is infinitely more valuable than rereading a generic prep book. It focuses your attention on your personal weak points. This is the cycle. You do a set of targeted practice problems under timed conditions. You conduct a forensic review of every mistake using the 4 categories of error. You document your findings and create new rules for yourself in your error log through active learning. Then you wake up the next day and you repeat the cycle. It's not glamorous. It's a grind, but it's an intelligent grind. Every single rotation of this cycle makes you a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, and a little bit smarter. This is how you systematically turn your weaknesses into strengths and watch your score climb. Point by painful, well-earned point. It's the engine of improvement, and Khan Academy provides all the fuel you'll ever need. Now, once that engine is running smoothly, you're going to hit a new and frankly a much more frustrating problem. It's called the plateau. This is that soul-crushing moment where you take a practice test, and your score is a 1380. You study for 2 weeks, drilling your weaknesses, feeling smarter, feeling faster. You take another test, and your score is a 1370. You want to throw the laptop out the window. You start thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe this is my limit. Maybe I'm just not a 1,500 level student. Let me tell you right now, the plateau is not a wall. It's a doorway. It's the test's way of telling you that you've graduated. You've graduated from fixing content gaps to fixing something much more subtle, much more important. You're now fixing strategy gaps. Up until this point, you were losing points because you didn't know a grammar rule or you forgot the formula for the volume of a cylinder. You were fighting a battle against what you didn't know. But now you're in a different kind of war. Your new enemy isn't ignorance. Your new enemies are time, pressure, and the clever, deliberate traps laid by the test makers themselves. This is where most people get stuck. They keep doing the same thing that got them from a 1,000 to a 1350, just general practice, and they wonder why it's not working anymore. It's because the game has changed and you need to change your tactics. This is where we shift from being a student of the material to a student of the test itself. And we are going to weaponize Khan Academy for this new, advanced kind of warfare. Your first surgical strike is on the level 4 questions. On Khan Academy, for every single skill, the questions are ranked by difficulty from 1 to 4. Level 4 questions are the SAT Special Forces. They are the most complex, multi-step, and deviously worded problems designed to separate the good scores from the elite scores. Your new mission is to live in this level 4 world. When you go to practice a skill, let's say, operations with polynomials, you are no longer just clicking practice. You are intentionally hunting down and doing only the hardest possible questions available. You are telling the system, show me the worst you've got. Why? Because spending an hour doing 30 easy and medium questions is a waste of your time now. You already know how to do them. It feels good, it feels productive, but it's like a heavyweight boxer training by sparring with a middle schooler. It doesn't make you better. You need to be challenged. You need to feel the burn. Spending 30 minutes wrestling with just 5 brutally difficult level 4 questions is infinitely more valuable. It recalibrates your brain to a higher standard of difficulty. You're building calluses. After a week of training exclusively on level 4 problems, when you see the hard questions on a real practice test, they start to look familiar. They look manageable. You've seen their uglier, meaner older brothers in practice, and you know how to handle them. As you do this, your error log, that notebook we talked about, also needs to evolve. It's no longer enough to write down "forgot the formula." Your mistakes are more sophisticated now, so your analysis must be too. You need to become a detective. You need to categorize your advanced errors. For every level 4 question you get wrong, you must ask, what was the real reason I missed this? And it usually falls into one of 4 categories. 1. Was it a time pressure error? This is where you knew exactly how to do the problem, but you saw the clock ticking, you panicked, you rushed, and you made a simple calculation mistake. You did 3 times 4 is 7. You solved for x when the question asked for 2x. The fix here isn't more math practice. The fix is drilling sets of hard questions under timed conditions to build your composure. 2. Was it a trap answer error? This is the test maker's favorite game. They create an answer choice that is incredibly tempting because it's the result of a common, predictable mistake. For example, you were supposed to distribute a negative sign to all the terms in a parenthesis, but you only distributed it to the first one. And guess what? That wrong answer is waiting for you, listed as option B. When this happens, you don't just write down the right answer. In your log, you write down "the trap was," and you explicitly describe the trap you fell for. The trap was forgetting to distribute the negative. I will never fall for that again. By naming the trap, you own it. You defang it. Next time you see it, an alarm bell will go off in your head. 3. Was it a complex question misinterpretation error? This is common on those huge, 5-line word problems or dense reading passage questions. You did all the math right, or you understood the passage but you solved for the wrong thing. You didn't fully understand what the question was truly asking. The fix here is to, after you get it wrong, rewrite the question in your own simple words in your error log. Force yourself to translate, what is the value of the y-intercept in the linear equation that models the rate of bacterial decay, into where does the line hit the vertical axis? This practice of simplification trains your brain to cut through the noise and see the core task in every question. 4. Was it an overthinking error? This is the sneakiest of all, especially for smart students. The answer seemed too simple, too obvious, so you convinced yourself there must be a trick. You second-guessed your initial correct instinct and tied yourself in a mental knot. When you identify this kind of error, you need to analyze Khan Academy's explanation not for the content but for its simplicity. You'll often find the shortest path to the answer was the most direct one. You need to write in your log, my first instinct was correct. I need to trust the straightforward path more. This new advanced error log becomes a tactical dossier on how the SAT tries to beat you. You're no longer just learning math and grammar. You're learning the enemy's playbook. Now let's integrate this with your full-length practice tests. Taking the test is just the data collection phase. The real work happens after. And here's a pro-level technique I call the microsection blitz. Let's say you just finished a full-time practice test. You review it and you discover a pattern. You got crushed on the reading questions about command of evidence. You missed 4 out of 6. You're tired. Your brain hurts. The normal instinct is to close the book and watch Netflix. But the elite student does something different. Immediately, while the pain and frustration of those mistakes are still fresh in your mind, you go straight to Khan Academy. You navigate to the reading and writing section, find the command of evidence skill, and you do a 30-minute focus blitz on only that skill. This is incredibly powerful. It's the psychological equivalent of a coach making you run sprints right after you fumble the ball in a scrimmage. You are directly connecting the consequence of the mistake on the big test to the targeted practice that will fix it. You're not waiting a week to work on your weaknesses. You are cauterizing the wound in real time. By the end of that 30-minute blitz, you will have rewired your brain on how to approach that specific question type, ensuring you are far less likely to make the same mistake on the next full-length test. All of this, the level 4 drills, the advanced error analysis, the microsection blitz, it's about more than just knowledge. It's about building mental stamina. The SAT is a 3-hour test of focus. It's designed to wear you down. The reason the last few questions in the math section feel so impossible isn't just because they are mathematically harder. It's because your brain has been running a marathon for 2.5 hours. This advanced training on Khan Academy is your mental conditioning. It's the hill sprints and the heavy lifting that makes the actual race feel manageable. You are forging a mind that is not just knowledgeable but resilient. A mind that is just as sharp and deadly on the final question as it was on the first. And this is where we separate the amateurs from the professionals. It's where we separate the students who hope for a good score from the students who engineer one. Because a resilient mind is only half the equation. The other half is an intelligent, self-correcting mind. You can run on a treadmill for 100 hours, but if your form is wrong, you're not getting faster, you're just cementing bad habits and paving the way for injury. The time sections, the full-length practice tests on Khan Academy, they are your diagnostic scans. They are your MRIs. They reveal the fractures, the weaknesses, the hidden vulnerabilities in your academic armor. And the single greatest mistake, the most tragic waste of time I see students make, is that they run the scan, look at the result, and then just walk away. They finish a full-length practice test, they get their score at 1380, let's say. They feel a momentary sting of disappointment or a brief flicker of satisfaction, and then they close the laptop and go watch Netflix. Or worse, they immediately jump into another practice test, hoping that more volume will magically fix the problem. They treat the practice test like a final grade. But it's not a final grade. It is a treasure map. Every single question you got wrong is a giant, glowing X marking a spot where points are buried. And if you walk away from that map without digging, you are leaving your score improvement up to pure chance. This is where you activate the most powerful tool in your entire SAT preparation arsenal. It's not a feature on Khan Academy. It's a system, a mindset. We're going to call it the error log or the wrong answer journal. And it is the single most important habit you will develop in this entire process. For every single practice test or time mini section you complete, you are going to perform an autopsy. You will become a detective, and every wrong answer is a clue you must analyze until the case is solved. You're going to open a simple spreadsheet or a physical notebook. And for every question you got wrong, you are going to answer 4 critical questions. Not just glance at them. You are going to write them down. The first question: why did I get this wrong? And you need to be brutally honest with yourself here. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about categorizing the error. Was it a content gap? Meaning you genuinely did not know the grammar rule, the math formula, or the vocabulary word. You look at the explanation on Khan Academy and think, wow, I have never seen that before. That's a content gap. Was it a misread question? You solved for X when they asked for 2X. You found the evidence that supported the author's claim, but the question asked for what weakened it. These are the most painful errors because you knew the material but fumbled the execution. Was it a calculation error? A simple slip-up in your arithmetic? You did 3 times 8 is 21. It happens. Or was it a time pressure mistake? You knew how to do it, but you rushed, panicked, and made a silly choice you wouldn't have made with 5 more minutes. Be a scientist. Categorize the error. The second question: why is the right answer the right answer? This is not about just reading the Khan Academy explanation and nodding along. I want you to re-explain it in your own words in your journal. You have to process it. You have to teach it back to yourself. If it's a math problem, write out the steps as if you were explaining it to a 5th grader. If it's a reading question, you must go back to the passage and find the specific line, the literal, undeniable proof that makes the correct answer 100% correct. You should be able to point to a sentence and say, this line right here makes choice B unavoidable, and everything else impossible. If you can't do that, you haven't finished with this question. The third question is the master level key. It's the one that most people skip. Why did I pick the wrong answer? What made it look so attractive? You have to understand the psychology of the test maker. They are masters of deception. They design wrong answers, distractors that are specifically engineered to trap students like you. Did the wrong answer use a buzzword from the passage, but twist its meaning? Did it sound plausible and logical, but was ultimately unsupported by the text? Was it a math answer you would get if you made one specific common mistake, like forgetting to distribute a negative sign? By analyzing the trap, you learn to recognize it. You're reverse engineering the test. You start to see the matrix. The next time you see a similar, tempting, shiny wrong answer, an alarm bell will go off in your head. You'll think, I've seen this trick before. And finally, the fourth question: what will I do differently next time? This has to be a concrete, actionable rule. It's your new protocol. It cannot be, I'll be more careful or I'll study harder. That's useless. It needs to be specific. For example, from now on, after solving for a variable in a math problem, I will always reread the very last sentence of the question to ensure I'm answering what is being asked. Or, when a reading question uses an extreme word like always or never, I will treat it with extreme suspicion and demand overwhelming proof from the text. Or, before I choose an answer on a grammar question, I will read the full sentence with my answer plugged in to make sure it sounds correct. You are literally writing the code for your future success. You are building an algorithm that will run automatically on test day. This process transforms you. You stop seeing mistakes as failures and start seeing them as opportunities. A practice test that gives you a perfect score is the most useless test you can take. Teaches you nothing. A test where you get 20 questions wrong? That's a gold mine. That's 20 specific, targeted lessons on how to raise your score. Khan Academy provides the data. Your error log is where you turn that data into wisdom. And don't just do this for the questions you got wrong. Do it for any question you guessed on and got right. You know, the ones where you narrowed it down to 2 choices and your gut picked the right one. That's a hidden weakness. You got the point, but your process was flawed. You got lucky. And you cannot build a 1550+ score on a foundation of luck. Go back to that question. Prove to yourself beyond a shadow of a doubt why your choice was correct and why the other choice you were considering was definitively wrong. Solidify the correct logic in your mind. This deep review process is not fast. It might take you longer to review the test than it took to take it. And it will be emotionally difficult at times. It is humbling to sit down and confront every single one of your mistakes, to dissect your own flawed thinking. But every student who breaks through to the elite scores does this. They embrace the discomfort. They understand that the path to mastery is paved with analyzed failures. They see each red X not as a mark of shame, but as a stepping stone. You are no longer just a test taker. You are a systems analyst. You are a detective. You are the architect of your own success. By meticulously logging and learning from every error, you are ensuring that you never make the same mistake twice. You are taking the raw material of your failures and forging it into the unshakable armor of expertise. You've conditioned your mind for endurance, you've built the systems to learn from your mistakes, and now you are turning yourself into a finely tuned, ruthlessly efficient point-scoring machine. The knowledge is one thing. The resilience is another. But this system of intelligent adaptation is what creates the exponential growth. Now there's just one final piece of the puzzle. It's about how to put all of this together and perform when the lights are on and the clock is ticking for real. This is where the rubber meets the road. All the practice, all the leveling up, all the skill building, it's all been training for the main event. And the only way to prepare for a 4-section, high-stakes, timed exam is to practice taking a 4-section, high-stakes, timed exam. This is the simulation phase, and it is non-negotiable. Here's the beautiful part. Khan Academy, through its partnership with the College Board, gives you access to the absolute gold standard of practice materials, the official full-length digital SAT practice tests delivered through the Blue Book app. These aren't knockoffs. They aren't SAT-like questions. They are created by the very same people who write the real SAT. They use the same interface, the same question types, the same structure, and the same adaptive logic you will face on test day. Using anything else for your full-length mocks is like practicing for a marathon by running on a trampoline. You're exercising, sure, but you are not preparing for the real event. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to schedule these full-length practice tests into your study plan like they are the most important appointments of your life. I recommend taking one every 1 to 2 weeks in the final 2 months leading up to your test. But taking the test is only half the battle. How you take it is what separates the good scores from the great scores. You must replicate test day conditions with obsessive accuracy. First, the environment. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed for the entire duration of the test. No, your bedroom with your phone buzzing on the nightstand is not a quiet place. Go to a library, a quiet corner of your house, anywhere you can lock the door and put up a sign that says, "Standardized testing in progress." Do not disturb under penalty of law. This isn't just about avoiding distractions. It's about training your brain to focus for an extended period in a sterile environment. Second, the timing. You will use the official Blue Book application, which has the timer built in. You do not pause it. Ever. Not to get a snack, not to answer a text, not to look up a word. The clock on test day is merciless, and your practice clock must be too. You get the scheduled breaks the app gives you, and that's it. You need to feel the time pressure. You need to learn how your brain functions when you see that clock ticking down from 5 minutes. This pressure is a variable you can control and adapt to, but only if you expose yourself to it repeatedly. Third, the tools. Use only what you're allowed on test day. That means your computer, the built-in Desmos calculator, and scratch paper. Don't you dare reach for your fancy graphing calculator if you don't plan to use it on the real day. Get comfortable with the on-screen tools. Learn the quirks of the Desmos calculator. Practice flagging questions for review. Make the digital interface an extension of your own mind. The less brainpower you spend figuring out the tools, the more you have for solving the problems. Fourth, and most importantly, the mindset. You have to treat this simulation as if it is the real SAT. This means no giving up on a hard section, no looking up a formula you forgot, no casually guessing because it's just practice. You must give it your absolute maximum effort from the first question to the last. Why? Because you are not just training your knowledge, you are training your stamina, your focus, and your emotional regulation. You are building the mental calluses necessary to perform under immense pressure. Now, after you've survived the simulation, the real work begins. This is the part that most students skip, and it is the single biggest mistake you can make. Do not just look at your score, feel good or bad about it for 10 minutes and move on. That score is the least important piece of data you get from a practice test. The real gold is in the questions you got wrong and the questions you got right but weren't 100% sure about. You are going to perform a forensic audit of your own performance. You will go through every single question you missed. For each one, you must ask and answer a series of critical questions. Question 1. Why did I get this wrong? Be brutally honest. Don't just say, I didn't know it. Dig deeper. Was it a content gap? Meaning you genuinely did not know the underlying math rule or grammar concept. Was it a misreading error? You read the question too fast and missed a keyword like accept or not. Was it a calculation error? A simple mistake in your arithmetic? Was it a time pressure mistake? You knew how to do it but panicked and rushed. Or was it a conceptual misunderstanding? You knew the formula but applied it incorrectly to the situation. You must categorize every single error. Create a log, a spreadsheet, a journal, whatever it takes. Question 2. How do I fix this permanently? This is where you loop right back into the Khan Academy system we've spent this entire video discussing. If it was a content gap, say you missed a question on circle theorems, you don't just review that one question. You go back to Khan Academy, navigate to the specific circle theorems skill, and you grind it. You watch the videos. You read the articles. You do the practice problems until you level up to mastery. You turn that specific weakness, identified by the official practice test, into an undeniable strength. If it was a misreading error, your fix is procedural. You need to train yourself to slow down, to underline key terms in the question on your scratch paper, to reread the question after you've chosen an answer to make sure it actually aligns. If it was a time pressure mistake, you need to practice time drills on Khan Academy for that specific question type. Set a timer for 1 minute per question and just do 10 of them in a row. You build speed not by rushing, but by achieving unconscious competence, where the steps to solve a problem are so ingrained you don't even have to think about them. This loop is the secret sauce. Take a full test. Perform a deep, honest review of your errors. Categorize every mistake. Use Khan Academy's targeted practice to surgically eliminate those weaknesses. Then, a week or two later, you take another full test. And you repeat the process. With each cycle, you are not just studying harder. You are studying smarter. You are using data from your own performance to guide your preparation. Your score won't just inch up. It will jump. You'll go from a 1250 to a 1320. Then, after another cycle of identifying and fixing your next set of weaknesses, you'll jump to a 1380. This systematic process builds not only your score but also your confidence. The week before the test is not for cramming. It's for consolidation and mental preparation. Do not take a full practice test in the last 5 days. You risk burning out or getting a lower than expected score that shatters your confidence. Instead, do light reviews. Go over your error log. Use Khan Academy to do a few time mini sections to stay sharp. But prioritize sleep, good nutrition, and relaxation. Your brain is a muscle. It needs to be rested and fueled to perform at its peak. On test day, you will walk into that room and it will feel familiar. The interface on the screen will be an old friend. The timing won't spook you because you felt that pressure a dozen times before. When you hit a hard question, you won't panic because you have a strategy honed through practice for flagging it and moving on. You've done the work. You haven't just passively watched videos or aimlessly done problems. You have engaged in a sophisticated, data-driven system of self-improvement. You use the diagnostic to find your baseline. You use the skill-building exercises to lay the foundation. You use the mastery system to build a skyscraper of knowledge, level by level. And you use the full-length practice test to pressure test the entire structure, find the cracks, and reinforce them until they were unbreakable. This isn't just a method for acing the SAT. This is a blueprint for learning how to learn. It's about taking a massive, intimidating goal, breaking it down into manageable components, and using a systematic process to achieve mastery. The score you earn will be a reflection of that process. The skills you build will last a lifetime. The tool is free. The plan is laid out before you. The only variable left is you. Now go get started.